Okay, so now what we want to do is we have already got in the vertical angular misalignment done. We've also got done the vertical shaft alignment, so they're both sides are at the same height as in relationship to the center of these shafts. And then we've rechecked those things. Now what we need to do is we need to do it in the horizontal plane. And so we're going to go right back to this setup right here that we looked at earlier. And but the difference being that we're going to be rotating this down, and we're going to be going from, get my head in there, this side to the other side. So we're essentially going to draw a horizontal plane, and we're going to be going back and forth beyond those two, and we're going to make some adjustments. Now sometimes this could be easier, sometimes it can actually be harder, and the reason I say that it can be harder is because we're going to be loosening things up and moving it around, and we may not necessarily have as easy of a time just making these subtle movements to get it where we need to be, whereas the shims, we were able to calculate exactly what the value is and do that. But now I have a 0 here, and just like we did before, I'm going to rotate both flanges around and try to make this horizontal. And I'm going to notice that from one side to the other, I forgot to account for which way I was going. It looks like it's on the positive side. Okay, and with the positive side meaning that this is coming towards this way. So that means that this is closer here to here than it is from here to here. So what does that mean? Ultimately, that means that this whole motor assembly is going to have to turn this way, and the value that I have is about 40 thousandths. Okay, so what that's going to mean is I gotta move this thing around. Now, again, this can be a little bit tougher because we're in a situation where we need to probably loosen this motor and do that. Now there's something else that you notice here. There are these screws or these bolts, and then these screws here that can shove the motor back and forth, and then on the other side there's another set. And these are nice because you can actually use those to move the motor around, but after we get done with this horizontal angular alignment, then we're going to actually have to get the horizontal alignment. Okay, so doing that, that's really where we're going to be using these jack screws. So you need to make sure that you don't use up your resource essentially. So let's see what that actually looks like. So if I'm here, I'm going to set this up at the top so it doesn't flop on me, flop over. And I'm going to grab my other wrenches, and I'm going to go ahead and loosen up these screws here so that I can expose the movement of this larger top plate. So I'm going to loosen that up there and there. This may really help to get my alignment much easier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of back these off just so that I can expose some movement here. And again, I said that this is a little closer on this side. So what that's going to mean is I'm going to actually need to take this thing and kind of jack this way, and then this one this way. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this one loose and this one loose here. I'm going to move this and this, and when I do that, it's going to be difficult to hold this here. So you could either prop something up or get somebody to help you and hold this while you're doing the cranking, but this is how we're actually going to make that adjustment. And as I'm moving this screw, I'm already seeing, well, I should have that lined up, I'm already seeing that I have a significant amount of movement here. Okay, so I'm going to play with this just a little bit, and after I make some small movements, then I'm going to go back and recheck what I have. Now, because of the nature of how I'm moving this, what you're going to see and notice is that the whole reading is going to change. So if that happens, it's okay. We just want to make sure that we are either keeping track of what the number is from side to side, because really it's a matter of the difference, or setting this back to 0 so that we have a frame of reference. And in this case, we're still moving in a positive direction, but now I'm only like 10 thousandths off. So this is absolutely fantastic. This is exactly what I was trying to get at, and I am going to go ahead and move this just a little bit more and try to get that alignment to change. Now here I'm going to go make it faster and read it. It's about 20 thousandths on the positive, and then over here about 10. So again, I can go ahead and make these little adjustments here. 15 here. and I come over here, and I am about 20. Go ahead and move this a hair bit more. Looks like I'm about 25. And I'm going to go back and forth until I get what I want. Okay, perfect. I'm at 25 here. So I've just taken care of the angular alignment for the horizontal position. Okay, so this is how this is done. It's back and forth until we get the horizontal done. And again, we saw the same thing with the vertical angular alignment, except for the difference is that we were able to loosen these up and actually calculate how much shim. Here, I'm using these jack screws to screw it around, and always recheck after you've done tightened up your bolts. And then once you have gotten this alignment, then we can go into the full horizontal alignment.